all of us in this together. All of us here to love and to be loved.
When it came to me, it was that, well, we want to cast you in Sister Death as it stands. And I read it and I was so blown over by it.
And so the plan was that I would be in Melbourne now, rehearsing with Kitan to perform it.
Perform Sister Death.
But nobody wanted to fund that.
Yes.
Nobody wanted to have anything to do with that. So Kitan, bless him, said, well, maybe you'd like to collaborate with this very wonderful trans artist I know who could perform it, and you could co-write it.
It was just so like, this is poetry at its finest, and yeah, these stories that were in it, and I sort of went, well, look, I appreciate that you want to cast me in this, mate, but this is very clearly the voice of a 70-year-old person who has a rich life and these rich relationships that aren't going to match with my youth and my life and my way of talking even. You know, like I'm very Australian, wonderfully British. And so how we want to pull this off. And there was a bit of back and forth about that. And yeah, and then this idea was hatched to go, well, how about let's just get the two of us together, wasn't it? We sort of jumped on a Zoom and we went, well, let's just see if we even like each other for a sec. And we found these remarkable commonalities, because what I think is so important to remember is that Sister Death wasn't really a trans play. It had your trans identity wasn't really a part of it, which made it kind of a bit singular in a lot of ways in the work that you did. And it was like, well, okay, how about what would it mean if we brought elements of that in? I said, well, that's why I love the play, because mortality is something that you face every day of your life.
You see, it was beautiful sending you the script of Sister Death and thinking, oh, what is going to happen? What am I going to get back? And just leaving you with the freedom to...
There's so much trust in you doing that. And that was such a big... That meant the world to me, to go, this person has just gone, I know I've written plays, I know what it means to write. And I went, I can't believe this has happened. This person's gone, have a crack at it. I think you even said, have a crack at it, have a go at it. And we'll see where we land from there. It was such a trust exercise, but giving your baby, and giving it to someone to go, well, let's see what you make of it, and yeah.
And that's what we did. And oh my goodness, what I love, it's so much richer, it's so much stronger.
Yeah.
Because of the work we're doing together. As I said, what a joy to get your version of the script back and to go, oh, wow, this is someone that can write dialogue. And not only that, but this is someone who understands structure. Wow, this is so rare, my love, I tell you. And what a joy. And then, you see, because it's all got better and better.
Oh yeah, every second.
And as we've been in the rehearsal room together, which was kind of crazy for me to come here.
Yes, wow.
It's a huge leap of faith, and what a wonderful week we've had.
Oh yeah.
And how amazing to find that actually my voice, very directly and physically, can be in the production.
Yeah.
What a joy.
Well, it just has changed. It's changed the expanse of it.
Yeah.
When you told us over Zoom, like, I've done it, I'm coming. I've managed to get in touch with a few people and they've booked me to do The Gospel According to Jesus, Queen of Heaven, which is the show that kind of really brought you to to Melbourne. Yeah. Well, I'm coming. And I got off that phone call. I think I said to my partner, I was like, oh, they're going to sack me.
Oh no!
No, they're going to sack me because, well, that was the whole point. The original point was that Jo would come out and perform Sister Death. Well, they'll just go back to doing that, surely. So I remember going, well, that's okay if it wasn't meant to be, and maybe they'll let me attached. Anyway.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, not at all. But it's just that's the But my partner sort of went, they're not going to do that, and it just made me laugh. And so then when we were, but we had this big discussion about what it means for you to be here and to really shepherd it into the light. The sort of gift of having you here as someone who, Queen Jesus, did such amazing things in Midsumma 2 years ago, and to sort of have you back in this kind of role where we're now co-writers, which is such a, sort of, I don't know, it's kind of special in respectively both of our careers. What 36 is about, for me, it's about an intergenerational relationship within the trans community and the value of that relationship and those relationships and how they help us when we are facing those life stages where we are thinking about at whatever point we may not be here any longer. And the beauty of it being co-written by us is that we're both in a version of that. So, because I'm at the sort of beginning of my transness, I'm at the beginning of my journey, and I'm facing all of the sort of onrushing of messages from the culture about my death, and I'm facing that kind of now and I'm also sort of facing the approach to middle age, and there's the times where you're sort of moving through that phase of life where you're starting to look a bit further down the line. And of course, for you being 75, go with the natural term maybe coming to a close, you're sort of looking back in a way, and I'm looking ahead.
But I think what's also wonderful about it is that, in a way, the fact that we are both trans is not important, because this is a love between two human beings, quite a bit older. I mean, you're older. You're the same age as my younger daughter.
That's right.
So there is that sense of relationship, and yet the problems we're talking about, everyone watching this, everyone going into the theatre has got to find a way of, it's not so much accepting the fact that they are going to die. Everyone who goes to that theatre will have lost someone. Yes. Everyone going to that theatre will be confronted by the need to grieve, the need to acknowledge grief, the need to not deny grief or try and get over grief or try to get back to normal, but to move forward into a new and actually richer understanding of the beauty and the glory of life. When I write a play, and this is no different from all the other straight plays and all the other plays I've written for theatres, I want theatre to be, I want it to be about something really important. So intellectually, people come into it can go afterwards, have really amazing conversations about, wow, do you remember when it opens up them intellectually, but also emotionally rich in a whole gamut of emotions. From grief to anger to joy to love, richly emotional. And I want to be beautiful, to look beautiful. We are working with, my God, the most amazing designer. And I want the play to have very sexy people. I want to see sexy people on stage.
That's the one place we haven't quite nailed.
No, we've got that one. Wearing something beautiful.
It's like.
And I love music. The fact we've got music in this play, and Kitan is such an interesting visionary director, and the way he's using cameras, voiceover. I mean, wow, this guy is amazing. We are working with one of the very best young Australian directors.
Yes.
That guy is such a joy to work with. Do you remember Kitan asked me suddenly, he said, what kind of play do you like seeing?
Yes, I do remember. You got very animated.
I launched into this diatribe about all the stuff I don't like to see. But actually, what I want to see is the kind of theatre that we are creating at this moment. theatre that gives pleasure in the richest, most unexpected, most delightful, gorgeous way imaginable. And that is what this play is.
Yeah,
I say this in all modesty.
I think I got asked, we are talking about who it's for, because when you're writing something that is apparently queer, or when there's a trans woman on the front of it, it creates a lot of expectations about what it will do or what it will be. And I just want everyone who sort of is thinking about coming out, just chuck those in the bin, because you're right. It's the reason I wrote about it this way was to acknowledge that grief and death is a human experience. And so all human beings have a relevance to this, and this idea that trans people and trans stories should be kind of squirreled away and niched to only communicate with trans people is not. It's not useful, but it's also not useful to create work for me that is instructive to cis people about being trans. That's not it either. It's about going, this is a means by which we all share a life experience here. And what that creates is a strong relatability. And that's my sort of belief in who should come, is everyone should come. And you should bring your grandmother. You should bring, a parent if you trust them. You should bring, you should bring someone who's, maybe that bit younger than you, or, bring someone who's in your own relationships, or the people who you have gone through grief with. Bring those people and allow it to kind of enliven your grief experience together. Even people who don't understand us, I think, have something to gain from being there. People who don't like us, have something to gain from being there. Just to understand that we are just people, and we're going to have to do the same thing that you're going to have to do, that your grandfather and your great-grandfather and your great-grandmother all had to do. We're all doing it. We're all doing it. So we are all in this together, and we are all going to, leave this life at some glorious stage. And so, I'm hoping it's something for everybody in that fashion.
There's a quotation from Queen Jesus that's just come into my head.
Oh, yeah.
All of us in this together. All of us here to love and to be loved.
That's it.
And that's it.
That is exactly it.
Yeah. Dear us.
So buy a ticket.
Yeah, whatever you do, buy a ticket.
Yeah.